I'm filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
So, I received some shocking news today. The worst part about it is that I was actually having a good day for once. I woke up pretty early, put out a brand new podcast episode. We got to see some lakes, and we went to the countryside today as well. So we got to see a different side of Tallahassee and not just the same thing that we see every day. I was even telling my friend, I said, I'm glad I tagged along with you because, my life basically consists of me going to work and coming home and hanging out in my room. So it's nice to get out. And, by get out, I don't mean just going to Boundings or something. It's nice to actually get out and see something other than what I'm used to seeing. And at some point during the day, I looked at my phone and saw the video of Charlie Kirk getting shot. And I was really hoping that he would get lucky. If you've seen the video, you can tell that it looks like a fatal blow, and you can see the blood spilling out. And a friend of mine even texted me, he's like, Charlie Kirk is dead. I said, we don't know that yet. Maybe he'll survive. And he said, no, dude. He's like, you can't survive a blow to the neck. He's dead. I think I was honestly in denial, and I really wanted him to live, and I was really praying for a miracle. And I was just like, please, like, let's just hope to God the bullet missed his artery or something, and by some miracle he survives. Well, about an hour or two later, they pronounced him dead at the young age of 31, leaving behind his wife and 2 beautiful children. And Charlie Kirk was one of my favorite podcasters, someone that I listen to frequently. I was just talking about him on my last podcast episode, actually, just this morning. I literally did the episode in one take, recorded it, and released it this morning, completely unaware of the fact that Kirk would be dead in a few hours from then. I'm just filled with so much sadness and so much rage because the liberals immediately started cheering that he was dead. They were so happy to see a dead man. They were simply because they don't agree with his ideologies. And you know what's funny? Well, no, it's not funny, but you know what's ironic is a better wording for it, is how liberals are constantly whining about gun laws and saying that guns kill people and protesting and rioting to ban guns. But when Charlie Kirk got shot, a good, honest man of God, the liberals did nothing but laugh in his face. Democrats and liberals are purely evil people. They're not even people, they're monsters. You know, a lot of people online have been saying prayers to Charlie Kirk and his family, a lot of Republicans, and even some Democrats. And when I see these Democrats saying, oh, God rest Charlie Kirk, I literally want to cave their fucking skulls in. Shut the fuck up. You guys tried to get Kamala in office after she publicly denied God. You guys protected a man, George Floyd, who was high on meth and threatened to shoot a pregnant woman, but you guys defended his honor for months. What did Charlie Kirk do? Honestly, I understand that a lot of politicians and podcasters like Andrew Tate or Joe Rogan or Grant Cardone, they can speak in a way that where they use a lot of strong language. They can say racist things. They can say things that will hurt your feelings. But Kirk didn't do that. One of the things that I greatly admired about Kirk was his willingness to kill his enemies with kindness. No matter how many people called him Nazis, no matter how many people wished death upon him and his family. There was one girl debating him because one of the topics that he spoke about a lot was abortion. And he talked about how abortion is completely wrong because you are killing an innocent child. And a woman presented him a fictional scenario, say his daughter got raped at the age of 10 years old. It's a quite graphic scenario. And she said, would you force her to have the child? And Kirk was like, well, that's very graphic. And he's like, you know, I do have a daughter of my own, but the answer is yes, because all human life is sacred. And that was just one of those moments. Obviously, the woman went on to like call him a monster and all this nasty shit. But let's face it, any normal person like you or myself, if someone presented to us a scenario where we had to imagine someone we cared about getting raped, we would lose our absolute shit. But he kept his calm, he kept his cool, he told her how he felt, and then he answered the question. He's made several people look stupid. Well, no, they make themselves look stupid. For example, the girl who told Charlie, hey, stop interrupting me, and he just stood completely quiet. And she keeps saying, you're interrupting me, and he's just standing there quiet. Even he was confused, like, I'm completely silent. You have time to speak, but instead you're choosing to complain about being interrupted. And I know a lot of times when I'm speaking in general terms, I often say that kindness is a weakness. But in more specific terms, kindness is not necessarily a weakness. I believe kindness is mistaken as a weakness by your arrogant enemies. In this world, we live in a cruel world. The sad truth is there are more bad people than good people on this planet. And bad people, if you are a good person, or if you're a nice person, bad people will take advantage of that. It's part of the reason why I became more cold-hearted, because almost everyone I know, 99% of the people I know, including my own family, including my own parents, people that I thought were going to stick with me till the end, have betrayed me, have taken advantage of my stupidity, of my kindness, of my naiveness. When you see a nice person turn into a mean person, I honestly think it's a defense mechanism. And honestly, when I meet someone who is nice to people no matter what, I genuinely feel bad for them. Because I know that there's going to come a day that they are taken advantage of, and it's going to hurt them so much that they are going to become more cold-hearted and meaner towards people, and they're going to have trust issues, and people are going to try to paint them as a bad guy because they put them on this pedestal. And I think this is something that happened with me, is people put me on a pedestal and expected me to be the good guy all the time. So when I did my own thing, when I was a little meaner, when I wasn't the good guy, people were disappointed. And not just people in Tallahassee. That happened with my family. That happened with my friends and neighbors back home in Jacksonville. A lot of my biggest haters are people that I know personally. People that I grew up with. People that, like I said, I thought they would be there for me until I died or until they died. And then they cut me off over something really fucking stupid because they placed me on this fucking pedestal. It's almost like I'm not free to be my own person. I have to do what they want me to do, not what I want to do for myself. Do not put me on a pedestal because I will burn it down. But I genuinely had a lot of respect and admiration for Charlie Kirk. A big reason for that was because of the fact that he was able to stay calm. I think the entire time that I followed him, I only saw him lose his cool one time. I forget what it was that upset him, but he was on his show on the Daily News, and the clip went viral. He basically yelled, "I'm a conservative," and angrily stood up. Didn't curse once. He only raised his voice for a little bit. I would say compared to how most of society reacts when they're angry, that was actually pretty calm. That wasn't calm for Charlie Kirk because we're used to Charlie Kirk being the nice guy. But compared to how most people react when they're angry or pissed off, I would argue that Kirk was actually very calm. And the messages he received, people telling him to imagine his daughter getting raped, people comparing him to a Nazi. I genuinely don't understand what logic people have comparing Trump and Kirk and other influential people to Nazis. The Nazis killed and tortured innocent people. Now, Trump is another person where I can understand why you don't like him because he can be a bit of an asshole sometimes. But Charlie Kirk, every clip I saw of him, every podcast episode I watched, anytime I heard his name, saw a clip, whatever, all I could ever think to myself is, this guy is so nice. How can anyone hate him? One of my favorite moments was an older man walked up to the stand and challenged Charlie to a fist fight, to which Charlie replied, I would hate to hospitalize you. That was a little snarky. Was that a bad thing? No. Some liberals were complaining on Twitter that, oh, Charlie threatened that man. I would argue that he actually did not. First of all, the man challenged him to a fight. Secondly, I think what Charlie said was actually very realistic. Because if you get in any form of physical fight, whether it's for sport or out of anger, there is a very high chance that one or both people involved could get hurt to the point that you could end up in the hospital or worse, dead. So I think Charlie was being very honest. He was always very honest. He was one of the few people that was always very honest without making the truth too brutal. And people still hated that. And that's another thing that I don't understand is, why do you hate people who tell the truth? Do you want to be lied to? Do you like being lied to? Do you like being told things that you deep down inside you know that it is complete bullshit, that it is complete garbage, that it is... Why do you want to be lied to? Yes, the truth can hurt. But doesn't a lie hurt more? Doesn't it hurt more when something that you believe to be the truth actually turned out to be a lie all along? So, let's talk about all the good Democrats have done. I can't think of anything. Literally any post I see of a Democrat, all they do is complain about Trump and complain about Elon and complain about... Bro, that hand signal that Elon did where he grabbed his heart and sent it off, Taylor Swift did that exact same signal, but did the left say anything? Nope, not at all. Elon does it, and suddenly he's a Nazi. And look at who the left looks up to. A lot of people on the left, a lot of women in today's society, I've noticed a lot of women in today's society are woke and cocky and left supporters. They look up to Taylor Swift when I say, okay, that's fine if you like her music or whatever. I don't understand why you would like her music, but it's all the same. But if you want to be like her, this woman is around 30 years old. I don't know her exact age. And she acts like a middle schooler. She spent her entire career hoeing around Hollywood and writing breakup songs about every one-night stand she ever had. And now finally, in her late 20s, maybe early 30s, once again, I don't know her exact age. Now she's finally engaged to some popular jock football player. This is literally the story of, this is a high school story of popular girl and a jock football quarterback graduate together and get married and live happily ever after. And you and I both know those scenarios never fucking happen in real life. And I'm going to tell you right now that Taylor is going to be getting a divorce. Sooner or later, she is going to divorce that man because Taylor is a drama queen and she loves to cause problems. It's very obvious. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they never even get married and she finds some excuse to break off the engagement. But this relationship is not going to last because, as she said in one of her songs, I'm the problem. It's me. Yes, Taylor, you are correct. You are the fucking problem. So we have a man like Charlie Kirk, who is a Christian man, doesn't curse, is respectful towards everyone, no matter how they treat him, has 2 kids and a gorgeous wife, and values the true values of humanity. And the left wants to shit on him, but they want to praise Taylor Swift, who talks about economics and save the environment, but she'll fly her private jet just to go to Starbucks. Seriously? Let's talk about the recent situation where a woman from Ukraine was on a bus, and she got stabbed to death. I saw that video too. It was very graphic. She got stabbed to death, the man left, and there were probably a good 3 or 4 other black passengers on that bus. They didn't care to help her out. They just let her die. They watched her fall off her chair and die, and they just walked off the bus like nothing happened. The news didn't want to cover it. The left didn't want to talk about it because apparently being white in America already makes you a racist. You hear that, guys? You have no control over what country you're born in. You have no control over what your skin color is when you're born. Being white and American automatically makes you a racist. And being black and American automatically makes you non-guilty of any crimes you commit. Because anytime a black man does anything illegal, the man that killed her had 14 felonies. The judge let him go every single time. Why was this man roaming the streets? It's almost as if we don't even have a fucking justice system in place. I'll re-quote something I've been quoting lately from rapper Dax. I see OnlyFans models grossing hundreds of Ks, but you get canceled for agreeing with Tristan and Andrew Tate. I'm in Andrew school right now called The Real World. It's an online college. Every day they teach you the values of being a man, of being a hard worker, how to achieve more, how to put your time to good use. Good values that you can use, not only as a man, but as a human being. What life lessons do you learn from OnlyFans models? How to be a fucking whore? And get paid for it? You know, back in the day, there weren't whores. Whores used to get fucking shamed for it. Now, all women are whores and they get praised for it? You do realize that's a sin, right? No, there's nothing more that I hate more than a fake Christian. And I do believe in God. I do believe God exists. I do believe that we are all part of God's plans. Matter of fact, a Christian friend of mine has told me that a lot of my values, he said that they're very similar to values in the Bible. But as I've stated on this podcast before, I'll never call myself a Christian. Well, I won't say that I'll never call myself a Christian, but right now, as my life is, I won't call myself a Christian because of the way I am. I can't say that I'm a Christian while collecting demonic entities around my house and watching horror movies and coming on this podcast and cursing up a storm. And Charlie Kirk is a perfect representation of a true Christian because, unlike me, Charlie Kirk doesn't seek revenge on his enemies. Charlie Kirk doesn't look to embarrass people or bash people. A lot of times these people embarrass themselves because they're already stupid and they're filled with so much hate that they can't see clearly. But versus someone like me, a lot of the things that I say are similar to the things that Charlie Kirk says, but I say it in a much meaner way. In just my last podcast episode, I bashed probably 3, 4, 5 people, maybe even more than that. Matter of fact, I was playing the episode in the car for a friend of mine, and something he said to me, he said, "Don't get me wrong, I like the podcast, it's funny," and he said, "But do you do anything else other than just bash people?" So no, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm a Christian when I do things like this on a daily basis. I can't even say I'm a good person for doing that. Sure, the people that I go after, they're not good people. I will argue that to my death. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm a good person either. I've basically stooped down to their level. I'm giving them a taste of their own medicine and using their own methods against them. But when you stoop down to your enemy's level, you become just as bad as they are. Sometimes even worse. That was Charlie's superpower, is he never stooped down to their level. He always kept himself at his high standards. And there are plenty of people who claim they're Christians, but they're not Christians. Something that I hate, the stereotype for Christians is not the same as real Christians. How many times have you walked into a church and there's some Karen lady who is judging every little thing you do and calling it a sin, or you're against God? And she's the most hypocritical bitch, usually an elderly mother of 2 or 3 kids, and she's criticizing one girl for showing her chest in church too much, or she's criticizing one guy for saying a curse word. But then you catch her gossiping with the neighbors about everyone and anyone and everyone. That's not a true Christian, but unfortunately that is the stereotype for Christians, and unfortunately it turns a lot of people away from Christianity because we go to church thinking that we're going to be universally accepted for who we are, and we're in a place where we won't be judged. But then we end up in church and the stereotypical Christian judges us nonstop for every little thing that we do. Women putting Bible verses in their bio, claiming that they're Christians, and then she has a link to her OnlyFans. That's not what Christians do. Christians have very high standards for themselves because those standards are not their own standards, but God's standards. They don't do what I do. I wake up and I do whatever the fuck I feel like, and I don't care who gets hurt in the process. Christians don't do that. So yes, it angers me because Charlie Kirk was an innocent man, and now his family has to grow up. Now his kids have to grow up without a father. Now his wife has to grow up. Now his wife has to continue on a single mother. And in times like this, now that we have internet, listen, back in the 1700s, if your father went off to some political party and he got shot, the police would show up at your door and they would take off their hats and they would inform you of the bad news. And the last memory of your father would be his smiling face. But now with the internet, now I believe the kids did see this in person. I believe they were at the rally. Imagine seeing your father get shot right in front of your eyes. And if that's not bad enough, if the last memory of your father is seeing him get shot in the neck, blood spewing out, him reaching for his neck in pain and dying in front of everyone, if that's not bad enough, we now live on the internet where you could randomly be browsing Twitter or Instagram and come across the video again. I can't imagine what that family's going through right now. God forbid they're checking their phone to go on social media, because right now that video is going viral all over Instagram, all over Twitter.
Let's get one thing straight. They didn't murder Charlie Kirk because he was an extremist or a fascist or a threat to democracy or inciting violence or any of the other reasons that they're now trying to put out on X and TikTok and everywhere else. They murdered him because he was effective. He was effective. The man made incredible arguments while at the same time always trying to seek out common humanity. He might have disagreed with arguments, but he didn't hate anyone. And they murdered him. That's what happened.
Mother fucking animals! You liberal, progressive, deranged fucking animals. You are so hateful in your hearts to go out and shoot a young man who's never hurted anyone with Christian values, a young, beautiful family, a father, a husband, a friend, a son. You shot him. Why? Because you didn't agree with his politics? Because you didn't agree with his ideology? That's the reason why he deserves to die! You fucking animals!
I agree with this lady 100%. The whole reason why I'm a Republican, the reason why I voted for Trump is because I looked at both sides. I'm like, okay, Kamala and her party, Joe Biden and his party. First of all, Joe Biden's a pedophile. There are literally videos of him touching children. No one gives a shit. Kamala slept her way to the White House. No one gives a shit. Kamala denied God. And coincidentally, I'm saying this with air quotes, coincidentally, because we all know there actually are no coincidences, California burned to the ground. Oh, and here's another, air quotes again, coincidence. All the crosses in the ground didn't burn one bit. They let criminals from Mexico into our country, and when we deported those criminals for doing illegal activity in our country and for coming to this country in the first place, they called it racist, What's racist about it? If Americans went to Mexico uninvited, we would also be sent back to our country. Matter of fact, there are other countries where if you enter the country illegally, they won't send you back. They'll just shoot you on the spot. You think America's bad? There are countries where you could go to right now without a passport. You go there illegally, you try to sneak in, and they will fucking kill you without hesitation. We didn't do that. We were kind enough to send them back to where they came from. It's not racism. Illegal immigration is called illegal immigration because it's illegal. And it was hurting the economy. They were taking our jobs. They were fucking stealing from our stores. They were fucking killing people, raping people. Race has nothing to do with it whatsoever. So then the liberals and the immigrants teamed up to riot in California and in a bunch of other places, waving the flag of the country that they don't want to go back to while burning the flag of the country that they want to stay in. That doesn't make sense. And rioting, setting Teslas on fire because Elon is friends with Trump, fucking doing every fucking crime in the book, and then you have the audacity to call it peaceful protesting? Do you know what the word peaceful means? Clearly you don't. You want to talk about transgenderism? You can't just become a woman because you say you are a woman. Oh, well, I'm trans. Okay, then pull down your pants and show me. Show me that you have a penis and a vag. Show me right now. A man cannot put on makeup and a wig and a dress and simply identify as a woman because he feels like it. That does not make any fucking sense whatsoever, any biological sense whatsoever. Anytime someone says to me, oh, my pronouns are I want to cave their fucking skulls in. Those are the people who deserve to get shot in the neck, not Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was an innocent man. I've never seen or heard of him doing anything wrong to anybody. Now, people like Donald Trump, has he been an asshole? Yeah, absolutely. Andrew Tate, yeah, absolutely. I still follow them. I still support them. I agree with what they say. They certainly don't deserve to die either. But if you come up to me and you're like, oh, I don't like Trump because he's an asshole, I can understand that. But if you come up to me and you say, oh, I don't like Kirk because he's an asshole, how? And no one can seem to explain how he's an asshole. You don't like what he has to say? Okay, cool. Don't go to his rallies. Don't listen to his podcast. Ignore him. I genuinely don't understand people who say, oh, I hate this person, and then they go out of their way to fucking follow them around and tell them, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Okay, then why are you here? Liberals want to complain about guns all the time, and guns hurt people, and we need to ban guns. A liberal shoots Charlie Kirk with a gun, and suddenly, we no longer care about gun violence. We no longer care about banning guns. We're just glad that Kirk is dead and that his family is now fatherless. Matter of fact, here's the interview I was talking about earlier.
You had a daughter and she was 10 and she got... And she was going to give birth and she would... No, wait. Oh, and she was going to give birth and she was going to live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's no, but it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Oh, okay, great. So that's insane.
But let me tell you why. No, hold on. Let me ask you a question. There's two ultrasounds I have. One is a baby conceived in, one is a baby conceived by a loving couple. Which one is which?
You don't know.
Exactly, because it's all human rights and
But
it's all
that
human
doesn't
beings.
matter.
So
But it's about your daughter who has to give
no.
birth to it, and is going to be tortured by that
Hold on
for the
a
rest
second.
of her life.
You are
That's
not-
going to take away every
Hold on a
freedom
second.
she's ever going to have.
Hold on.
That's going to
Every
ruin
freedom.
her life. She's going to
You know
grow
what?
up and she's going to be
Abortion is not a
attached to
victimless
another thing.
crime. And the point is how you were conceived is irrelevant what human rights you get.
But-
Hold on one second. If a person conceived and walks down the side of the street, it's not like they don't get First Amendment rights or Second Amendment rights.
It's
or
not
Fourth
about
Amendment
that
rights.
person.
The worst thing to do to that the daughter is to then say, hey, we're going to go for the being inside of you.
They wouldn't even know. Like, listen.
They wouldn't know.
Listen.
But wouldn't it
No,
be
no.
a better story
No,
to say
it
something
wouldn't.
evil happened and we do something good in the face of
No.
evil instead of saying we're going to do evil and then the being because we're gonna pander to the evil. No, what makes the West great is that we do good after evil, not evil after evil.
It's not about the being and the cells.
No,
it's not about. No. I'm
I know,
speaking.
we're-
No, I'm speaking.
we're both-
No, I'm
we're both
speaking.
clumps
No,
of
I'm
cells.
speaking.
We're
No, I'm
both
speaking.
clumps
No,
of
I'm
cells.
speaking.
Okay.
No, I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking.
Wanna say it one more time?
No, I'm speaking.
Got it.
Thank you. So it's not. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
I
the
know you
person.
don't care about
No. I'm talking about the person who is dealing with the pregnancy. I am not talking about the cells. I don't care. No,
cells.
listen. The fetus, the whatever. I don't care about that right now until it is formed. If there is a 5-year-old child who is pregnant and the baby is 2 weeks in
5-year-olds
utero,
can't get pregnant,
actually
okay?
they have given birth. There
5-year-olds
is
have given pregnant.
there is one recorded case of a
Okay,
5-year-old
I stand
girl who
corrected.
gave birth.
Is that common?
Yes, it's common. 5-year-olds get sometimes, and if they get pregnant, I think they should be able to have medical access to something that could save not only just their life, but like their livelihood.
How many? I'm curious.
I hope your daughter lives a very happy life and gets away from you.
Okay, so that is really nasty, and so her belief system, just so we're clear, is that. Yeah, no, I got it. It's fine. I mean, it's insanely nasty, and we'll talk again.
Alright, so let's get this straight. This woman made an absolute fool of herself because she didn't let Kirk get even 2 words out. She basically angered herself and then stormed out of there right before the timer went off. And Charlie Kirk stayed calm the entire time. Now, let's talk about abortion while we're on the subject. I have mixed views on that. Personally, I think if a woman is a bad person or a bad mother or she doesn't feel that she's ready, I don't think that she should be forced to have the child because I think that child's just going to have a hard life. He's going to grow up hating his parents. Matter of fact, back when I was running Tallahassee, me and my friend did an episode because he's against abortion and I'm not fully against it, but I'm not fully for it either. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. So we had a debate about that. And something that I told him is because my parents were horrible people. They forced me to do things my entire life that I didn't want to do because they were selfish and they put themselves first when in reality, when as a parent, you're supposed to put your child first and then yourself. I'm not talking about, oh, you can't have sweets for dinner or whatnot, or they were strict because they wanted me to be well disciplined. No. When I was 13 years old, my parents decided to take us all on a year-long road trip all around Florida. And if that wasn't bad enough, we then went on a 6-month road trip to Kansas and back, and that was the first of many road trips. I didn't have a say in it whatsoever. I didn't like it. I hated it because we would move to a new area of town. I thought we were going to stay. I would get to know people. I would make new friends. And then my parents would tear me away and take me to an entirely different side of town. And I hated settling into hotel rooms and living in hotel rooms for fucking 2 nights. And then packing everything up in the car. And then eating fucking stale bagels for breakfast that were 2 days old every day, and I fucking hate it. Like literally literally what I ate in my teens was fucking, but before I moved to Jacksonville, was fucking stale bagels that were 2 days old and fruit salads. And I was in the car for hours. Hey, I gotta pee, don't care, but if God forbid I peed myself, I never did, but God forbid I peed myself, I would have been fucking yelled at, even though I told them repeatedly that I had to really piss. Sometimes they would book hotels where the bathroom was inside of the bedroom. And they had other options. They had 2-bedroom hotel rooms, or they had hotel rooms that had the bathroom in the common areas. But because my parents were selfish and they wanted the room with the nicer view, and they wanted a little bit more privacy, they would make me sleep on the couch in the living room, and they would keep the room to themselves, and they would lock the door So a lot of times I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd have to pee. And guess what? I couldn't go. And then I will wait until morning, and then they would sleep in until 10, 11, 12 o'clock in the morning, or 12 is noon, I guess, technically, and I still had to pee. And I would knock on the door, and I'd be like, hey, I've had to pee since fucking 11, 12 o'clock last night, and I haven't peed yet. And then I'd get yelled at for interrupting their sleep, for waking them up. That road trip that they did was extremely selfish because they did not take into consideration me or how I felt or what I wanted to do. And that's the kind of thing that you do when your child has grown up and moved on and you too can do it alone. But no, they decided to take their kid along with them and they treated me horribly. And that was the first of many things that they did. My entire childhood, if I could erase my entire childhood from existence, I would, because I genuinely can't remember anything good about it. My parents are horrible people, not to mention the fact that my father is a fucking pedophile. A big reason why I could never keep a girlfriend in high school is because my father used to stalk them all on Instagram and like all their bikini pics. And he did this all the way up until adulthood. I blocked him on Instagram way before I finally cut ties with my parents for good. My parents are horrible, horrible, horrible people. So in that Tallahassee episode, something that I told my friend, I told him, like, listen, my parents were such horrible scumbags. I honestly wish I was aborted, because had I been aborted, I would not have had to suffer that rough childhood that they put me through. I think that we should ban abortion is because there are women whose only mission in life is to be a whore. And they carelessly have sex with guys without birth control, without condoms. They just have sex for the sake of having sex, and they do it so carelessly. And they get pregnant, and then they go, oh, I'll just go get an abortion. They get an abortion, and then they get pregnant again, get another abortion, get pregnant again, and it becomes this repeat cycle. I'm like, okay, I can understand if you were raped. Now, this is where I would disagree with Charlie Kirk. If a woman was raped and she gets pregnant because she was raped, I think it is understandable if she got an abortion. We don't know what's going on with people's lives. Maybe she's not ready to have a child. Maybe she can't have a child. Now, another situation where I would say abortion is acceptable is if the woman has some sort of health condition where if she goes into labor, she's going to die. And then you have to decide, okay, well, do we want to save the mother or save the baby, or risk losing them both? If the only possible way for the mother to survive is to get the abortion, I would say that, yeah, we should get the abortion. I think there are very rare scenarios, though, where an abortion is okay. I think that abortions are, generally speaking, they are wrong, because you are taking the innocent life of a baby that hasn't even been born yet. You're taking an innocent human life. So generally speaking, I do agree with Charlie Kirk on that. Women need to learn to close their damn legs. It's like the first time you do it, okay, so you accidentally got pregnant because you were careless. Okay. And then you go and do it again. The fuck are you doing? It's like you enjoy murdering babies at this point. It's wrong. Use a fucking condom or close your fucking legs for once. Do something else with your life other than hoe around. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to follow the traditional values and, oh, you need to, study hard in school and go to college and find one soulmate and marry that soulmate and have sex with only that soulmate for the rest of your life and never meet anyone else and become a virgin. And you gotta stay a virgin until you're married. Another reason why I don't call myself a Christian is because I don't follow that traditional values. I'm not a virgin. I don't believe that you need to stay a virgin until you get married necessarily. However, there is more to life than sex. I do believe that you should have other things going for you other than just sex. Now listen, if you want to, if you want to hook up with someone because you find them attractive, that's fine. But when girls lead on men who are kind and make men think, oh, this is my girlfriend, this is gonna be my future wife, I'm in love with her, and then they purposely break his heart because it's their hobby. Or when they meet up with other men who know the kind of girls that they are, and they take advantage of these girls, and these girls know that they're being used as sex dolls. These girls know that these bad men simply view them as sex slaves and nothing more, and do not care for them as human. Like, is that what you want for yourself? You want to be used and abused? You want someone who doesn't care for you as a person? Like, they're just fucking sex addicts. I think it's bad for men, too, for playboys, I guess you could call them, for men who want to have sex with women just for the sake of having sex and no other reason whatsoever. They don't care about her whatsoever, and their only goal in life is to hook up with as many bitches as possible. It's like, bro, get a life. There's more to life than just sex. Sex is, the whole reason why Christians believe you should stay a virgin until marriage is because sex is supposed to mean something. But now we live in a society where people do it so often. People have become addicted to it that now it doesn't even mean anything. Now it's no longer special. Oh, I had sex with this guy. So what?
How do you want to be remembered? If I die, everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith.
There's a video on the internet of some fat black chick. Charlie Kirk dead at age 31. And she's dancing. She's making a TikTok dance in celebration of someone's death. Mind you, this is not Hitler, okay? This is not a man who killed people. This is not a man who was seeking to hurt others. This man went on tour on different college campuses and debated college students about their opinions about a variety of topics, but mostly politics.
Celebrating and dancing over a man who got shot. This isn't even about politics, honestly, anymore. This is about a human. Forget your politics. Forget about your stupid politics and everything. At the end of the day, this was a man who died because he was talking about what he believed in and talking about how he felt about things in the world. Just like every other politic, does every politic deserve to be shot and die? Imagine his kids growing up and watching those videos that you guys are making, cheering and dancing and happy about someone's father dying. Imagine them seeing those videos. You guys are evil and you guys have no hearts. Heartless people. Yeah, and these are the same people that are pro-abortion and cheer when people get abortions and kill their babies, their unborn babies. You guys are the same pro-choice. Pro-choice. Yeah, I've had enough of this. I can't. You need to find God. This world is wicked.
Yeah, for the most part, I'd say I'm against abortion. I think, like I said, there are rare scenarios where I think abortion should be allowed depending on the situation. It has to be a very serious, critical situation, but generally speaking, I think abortion is wrong. Apparently, Charlie Kirk had a rival. I didn't know he had a rival. Well, not really. Charlie Kirk really didn't have rivals or enemies. There were people that saw Charlie as their rival or enemy or competitor, but Charlie didn't see anyone the same way. He saw them as his friends. He saw them as his family. He saw them as human. Charlie Kirk didn't have enemies.
His wife and children were in attendance, dude. Imagine, imagine being a 12-year-old, watching your dad fucking die. Nobody deserves that. Not even Charlie Kirk.
I'm still in shock. This is not the news that I wanted to receive today. I was literally having a good day. I was out with my friends. I was getting shit done. Here's something by Tristan Tate.
We've lost one of our best guys, and for what? The media paints Charlie, who loved his kids, loved his wife, and loved God as a fucking evil person. And the people who did this feel justified in what they've done. Like they've gone back in time and assassinated Stalin or something. I feel sick to my stomach seeing this, and I genuinely can't believe it. I know a lot of people here probably know Charlie's family. If I can do anything for them, you know, by all means, offer them my support. But there's literally nothing I can do that will make this okay, and it breaks my heart.
Democrats are sick, evil people. They cheered for Trump when they thought he was gonna die from the bullet wounds. When he disappeared for 2 days, they prayed that he was dead. They're cheering now that Charlie Kirk, one of America's greatest heroes, has tragically passed away on camera. Name one good thing a Democrat has done. Matter of fact, the whole reason why the Republican Party was founded was to stop the Democrats. They've been evil. The Republican Party was founded to end slavery because the Democrats wanted to keep the slaves. And the Republicans said, that's not right. You know, it's so funny to me. There's so many liberal black women who complain about how their ancestors were slaves and how there's so much racism going on towards blacks. And, you know, our ancestors were slaves. Okay, but who'd you vote for? Well, Kamala, obviously. Okay, so you're a Democrat. Well, yeah. So, do you know that the Republican Party was formed to stop slavery, and they had to fight the Democrats to end slavery? The Republicans are your heroes. Trump is your heroes. People like Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, Donald Trump, people like that, people with that kind of mentality, they are the reason you're not in chains or working in a field all day in the hot sun today. But you're over here voting for the opposite party. Donald Trump ended crime in Washington, D.C., and the liberals cried. Charlie Kirk got shot to death. The liberals cheered. You cannot convince me that liberals and Democrats are good people. I've tried to see the other side. I've tried to reason with them. I've tried to see things from their point of view. I cannot stress this enough. Liberals are bad people. Liberals are evil people. How are you gonna shame Trump for stopping multiple wars, but you don't give a shit about Biden touching kids? Oh, it's AI. Those videos came out before AI, and you can tell it's not AI. AI is not that good yet. You can easily tell which videos are AI and which videos are fake. I used to look forward to him dropping a new podcast episode. I looked forward to seeing his posts on my feed every day. I look forward to. And I had a lot of respect for him because Charlie Kirk was a good man. He was a better man than I ever was. Very much unlike me, my nature is if someone disrespects me, I get down to their level and give them a taste of their own medicine, or worse. Charlie Kirk never stooped down to their level. He never let their anger affect him. He never let their hatred affect him. He always stood up for what he believed in. He always stood up for what was right. He always stood up for God's values. We all have our flaws, but when I think about Charlie Kirk, and obviously I didn't know him personally, so yeah, he probably did have flaws that we don't know about. But you can name any person, tell me any person right now, and I can think of a flaw they have. It's my superpower, honestly. I'll tell you right now, something that I learned from the shit that I've been through over the past few years, from being betrayed by my own family, by those I once considered my best friends, from something that I learned from my enemies, and something that I've said on the podcast before, is you learn a lot more from your enemies than you do your friends. Because your friends are there to have a good time with you and to help you when things get rough. But your enemies have usually been your friends at some point. An enemy is not usually a stranger or someone that you hated from the start. Usually it's someone that was your friend at some point and took advantage of that friendship. Something that my enemies have taught me is how to read people, how to read their body language, how to listen to their tone of voice, pay attention to their facial expressions. There's a lot that goes into it. But I've learned to read people so well that I can meet someone and in a matter of seconds, I can instantly tell what kind of person they are. I can instantly tell if this is someone that I'm going to get along with. I'm able to predict a lot of things that are going to happen because of it. I've been able to predict people that were going to betray me before it happened and was able to avoid it. But a lot of people would say it's a superpower. I say it's a curse. Because when you learn how to read people, you start seeing them for their flaws and you can't see past it. One of my greatest weaknesses is I can't see past people's flaws. I see their flaws and I live with the expectation because of what I've been through, but also because of my ability to read people. I think everyone is a bad person and I only see them for their flaws, and because we all have flaws, I start seeing flaw after flaw, and it gets to the point where I see so many flaws that I can't see them for the good that they do or the good values that they have, and I only see them for their flaws. And my ability to read people, but also it's trust issues, really, has put me in a situation where I don't trust anyone at all. I can't even trust my own friends. Even my own friends, the few friends that I have left, even my own friends, I've developed contingency plans for them. Essentially, I've made up scenarios in my head where my current friends turn against me for whatever reason. And I've laid it out like a chessboard and predicted what they could possibly do to hurt me and how I would counter it. Guys, I've literally imagined my current friends, like people that I hang out with, people that I look forward to seeing. It's not that I don't like them, it's that I literally live in this paranoia that everyone's gonna turn against me, because that's essentially what my life has been for the past 2-3 years. So now I have these contingency plans in place where I literally imagine scenarios where, okay, if this person turns against me, how am I gonna counter that? And I literally keep these plans and I keep them in my mental storage, because I live with this paranoia that everyone at some point is gonna turn on me. I don't meet new people or make new friends because I live with the expectation that they're gonna turn on me eventually, so what's the fucking point? But also because I can read them, I can instantly tell what their flaws are, and then I can't see past it, and then I think everyone is a horrible person. But when it comes to Charlie Kirk, I honestly can't think of any flaws. I'm not saying the man had none, I'm sure he did, everyone has, no one's perfect. But I can't think of a single thing this man did wrong. You know, I'm usually really good with words. But not in times like this. I've never been good at comforting people during sad times. I kind of just get quiet. Doesn't really serve me because I'm a podcaster, but it seems the only thing I'm good at using words for is insulting people. I'm good at that. I'm good at forming words to creatively and hilariously insult people. But when it comes to sad times like this, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to say. I know how I feel. I don't know how to put into words. I'm only good at insulting people. I don't know how to use my words in any other form. I'm genuinely just sitting here and I don't know what to say. The Republicans need to fight back harder than ever. This is an extreme situation. We lost a good man today. He did not deserve to die. Not only is he suffering, but his family is suffering. Now his wife has to raise those kids on her own. Now those kids have to grow up without their father. And I could tell from what the videos that I've seen online, he's an amazing dad. Every video, I've never seen him get into an argument with his wife. Every video I saw of him, he was kind to each and every person he ever encountered. He loved his family. He loved his family more than anything in the world. How can we live in a world that is so cruel, that is so unjust? To live in a world where these things happen, and there are people that cheer for it. Jeff Mack just put it perfectly. Charlie Kirk was just assassinated in broad daylight, and people on TikTok are celebrating. These people are on the side who claims to be on the side of quote-unquote love and tolerance. A man's life was taken, and instead of mourning, they cheer. It's absolutely disgusting.
Let's, wait a minute. The house will be in order. Shh. The house will be in order. Shh. The house will be in order. We will join prayer right after this, okay?
Unbelievable. Democrats in the House shout no for a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. How dare you? How dare you? This is my final message to you. If you are still a registered Democrat, you are a bad person. You are a delusional, sick, retarded, cunty fuck. Because from their pro-abortion, to their riots, to Trump's attempted assassination, to Charlie Kirk's assassination, to a woman in Ukraine getting stabbed to death and no one gives a shit simply because she's white, to transgenderism, to trying to force your gay ideologies on little kids. The shit that the woke and the left and the liberals and the Democrats are doing, none of it's good. It is all purely evil. If you support any of this, you need to stay the fuck away from me. Because you are an evil, evil person. May God be with us all during these hard times, and may God bless Charlie Kirk's family, and may God rest his soul.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Shot down and he was barely 31. Another woke coward took a life with a gun. He left behind a wife and a daughter and a son. All he did was try to speak for all of us. And I'm so tired of the hatred and the narratives. The patriots ain't dangerous, woke people are the terrorists. They shot and killed the father, sent a message to Americans. They ain't gonna stop until they bury us. Dear Charlie, I don't know if you can see us now, but if heaven has a window, I sure hope you're looking down. Cause we ain't going quiet, we gon' scream your name loud. And you're gone, but I swear to God that we gon' make you proud. We ain't backing off or giving up, I'll preach what you taught me. They may have killed a soldier, but that man had an army. This is far more deep than some political parties. And you can't kill freedom, so this one is for Charlie. This ain't the America that all our parents love, but good men tried to keep making it great. Pray that God will take care of us, the system is failing us when good men die for the things that they say. And I can't just be quiet, so I gotta be brave, cause this is America. Lately it's scaring us, but one good man can change it all in a day. Killed in cold blood for having a discussion, and liberals are celebrating murder like it's justice. You didn't kill a villain or the evil that it comes with. You killed a father and a husband. And I'm so tired of the left and all the wokery. We can't get along if you just kill us when we don't agree. Sniper rifle fire from a liberal that no one sees. Scared I might be next to die when I'm just buying groceries. Charlie, we'll make sure your children know that defending all our freedom is why you aren't coming home. I hope heaven has a window you can watch your children grow and hear your message echo from below. And we ain't backing off or giving up, I'll preach what you taught me. They may have killed a soldier, but that man had an army. This is far more deep than some political parties. And you can't kill freedom, so this one is for Charlie.
This ain't the America that all our parents love, but good men try to keep making it great. Pray that God will take care of us, the system is failing us, when good men die for the things that they say. And I can't just be quiet, so I gotta be brave, cause this is America. Lately it's scaring us, but one good man can change it all in a day.